Information Station 1370 WOCA. Ocala.
All right, 19 minutes after 11 o'clock. I remember the day I drove home from the hospital after my son was born. All of a sudden, traffic was a way different thing for me. It was like, you stay away. Every car, stay away. And as my wife and I raised our baby, and he's now a full-grown man of the age of 28, and I like to mention it a lot because I love my son. But I remember those days, and I remember how the need for real patience and real love was absolutely a huge part of what that experience was for me. And it's just one of the sweetest times in my life that I'll ever remember. So now when I do the news and I report on the story of somebody being arrested because a child has died, because the child has been shaken, I don't find it in me to forgive. Not that I know these people, but I just don't find it in me. I don't find it in me even to understand. I really don't. I would say, and I'm going to probably upset some people, but I would say most of them are men. Most of them are young men. Most of them are young men that are not the child's father, although not always. Usually something happened with the relationship with the baby's mother and father, and now there's a different man in the picture. But not always. Sometimes it is a woman, and sometimes it's one shake. And so when I look deep in me and I try to conjure up that part of me that believes that we should all be able to forgive everybody, not that I really don't think I can do that, but when I look at the pictures sometimes of the faces of the arrested, and I realize, gosh, he's just a baby himself, I ask myself this: could something have been done last week, last year? Like if we could go back in time and say, look, in a year from now, you're going to shake a baby and you're going to kill it. Is there something I could have said to him a year ago or done for him so that he would not have been at the point he is now? And I'm saying I'm very much aware that sometimes it is a she.
Yep.
James Peinkofer has covered this very difficult topic very well. And maybe his book, you never think that a book can actually change the world, but if the world is your experience, then one life has one whole world of experience. Mm-hmm. And James Peinkofer just may be saving a lot of lives and therefore changing a lot of worlds. He is a child abuse consultant. He assesses physical child abuse for police investigations and prosecutors. He's also a hospice social worker. This guy's got a big heart.
Yeah.
He's a medical and mental health clinic social worker, and his book is, I believe, going to save lives. It's called Losing Patience: The Problems, Alarms, and Psychological Issues of Shaken Baby Syndrome. James Peinkofer. Good morning, James.
Good morning.
Is it really a syndrome? I don't like that word syndrome. It almost excuses it.
Well, it's because there are multiple aspects to the injuries that an infant or young child suffers. It becomes a syndrome, and what the consequences, the lasting consequences, if a child does not die, then it's a lifelong issue that the child and family have to deal with, unfortunately.
Now, there are two types of news items that fit into this category. There's the ones who I really truly believe may have just said, stop it, and shook the child one time, and boom, the child was dead. And then there are the other ones that did more than that. So are we talking about both types, or the ones who just got a little angry and just regretted it for the rest of their lives?
Well, I mean, there are both types, and I have even heard of perpetrators who have said, I lost my head that one time, and the child died. Ultimately, I was found guilty, and I regret it, and I wish I had education. And then there's the perpetrators who are literally out to get the child. And I call that, I mean, there's the three I's. the intolerant, the insensitive, and the inexperienced. And they don't have the experience, the life experience, because of their age or the hands-on experience. They don't know what to do. They haven't been told what to do. And so there's really a blend. I mean, and that's where it comes down to, first, preventative information that we can give across the board to new parents and new caregivers. But then there's the what actual parents can do, if it be it mother or father, to say, look, you're going to be looking after my baby for the next couple hours. Here's how to get in touch with me. Here's what not to do. So
there are some things we can do in advance. Is there anything we should look for in the potential person? I mean, is it the person nobody expects, or is it the person who flies off the handle all the time?
You have both, unfortunately. The issue is the main trigger event with shaken baby syndrome is crying, and it's more of a out of control. The caregiver doesn't feel in control. So you might have some early signs by a person. For example, I wish that baby would just shut up, and I just am tired of the crying. And they're actually telegraphing how they feel early on. And so when they're left with the responsibility of caring for this baby, no one thinks about, this person really doesn't like crying. Well, what does my baby do?
Is this going to be? Do you think this will be taught in schools for students so that they get some kind of a message? It's similarly to the way we have the classes that show the wrecked cars so that the students drive safer.
Oh, I mean, I hope so, and I hope it becomes a part of the curriculum. I hope it becomes a part of every hospital education before a baby goes home. My first book was 101 Ways to Soothe a Crying Baby. And what if we give alternatives to issues that new parents or caregivers come to grips with? Then okay, well, if the holding doesn't work, if the feeding doesn't work, if using a vacuum cleaner in the background doesn't work, you know what? I'm going to put the baby down and let him or her cry.
Isn't it?
Check on him or her.
Yeah.
Isn't it just common sense, though, not to hurt? I mean, I just don't understand that. I've raised 2 children, and they've cried, and I've walked the floors and stuff with them, but I would never hurt them.
Correct. It is common sense to you and I, but to a lot of people who don't have common sense, they lash out, and that's their first instinct. They don't use 101 ways. They use one way, they try it, it doesn't work, they get mad.
Oh, wow. If I was on a jury and I heard a defense attorney saying my client had a lack of vitamin C and that explains it, I would have a hard time buying that. But that is, in the book, one of the things. I mean, explain that.
Well, I mean, that's the issue with a lot of defense witnesses, that they are getting paid very good money to put out these smoke screens, what I call them, to juries, and they believe it. They have this hypothetical thing like lack of vitamin C, that it's shown these specific symptoms in a baby who doesn't have vitamin C, and they correlate it to shaken baby syndrome, which is literally apples and oranges. No other condition in the human body looks exactly like shaken baby syndrome. So if you have good medical records, if you have good investigation, you have good documentation, you have a pretty solid case. So, was the baby tested for lack of vitamin C? I mean, obviously you don't have to do that across the board, but did the baby have a bleeding disorder? Has that been checked? So it starts from the first responders all the way to the investigators and prosecutors.
James, I don't know you, but what I know about you, I'm so impressed. You are one of many people, I guess, are making the world a better place, but it looks like everything you do makes the world a better place. And I hope you don't just think I'm placating you. I really felt this as I was looking through the material. Thank you for being on the air with us. I wish we had more time. I have a copy of the book. It's called Losing Patience. James Peinkofer is the author and our guest. Call me if you want the copy that was sent to us. And James, can you give us a website so we can buy the book?
Yes, and thank you very much, Larry and Robin, for having me on today's program. I really appreciate it, and thanks for your kind words, Larry. The address for the website is losingpatientbook.com.
Okay, and the other one sounds interesting, too. I would love that one to be recommended as well. 101 Ways to Sue the... What is it called again?
101 Ways to Sue the Crying Baby.
Sue the Crying Baby, okay.
Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for being on the air with us today, James. And for the listeners, go to the website, losingpatientbook.com. I'm guessing it's on Amazon, am I right?
Yes, it is, too.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
okay, so you can get it there and probably everywhere where books are sold. What a great thing you're doing. I wish we had more time to chat. Thank you, James.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll be right back.